Welcome to the Liberating River, where spiritual freedom meets soul aligned wealth. I'm Wanda. Last episode, we talked about financial decision psychology. We talked about why smart people make emotional financial decisions, right? Today, we are going deeper because many of our financial reactions are not ours, they are inherited. Scarcity is often learned, not chosen. And until you update the script, that reprogramming yourself, you may keep living out someone else's financial nervous system. Sit with that right there. If you do not reprogram your mind, you may keep living out someone else's financial nervous system because this changes how you see yourself. Maybe you're not bad with money. Maybe you were loyal to an environment that trained you to survive. And survival thinking is very different from stewardship thinking. That's why today we are going to talk about how that wiring forms, how it lives in our bodies, how it shows up in decisions, and how you begin updating it without shame. So, scarcity. Scarcity is one of those words that we really don't like to talk about, but we talk about it. So, I'm going to talk about it directly. Scarcity thinking is not weakness, it is protection. If your environment was unstable, unpredictable, financially inconsistent, your brain adapted that. It adapted unpredictability, unstableness. That's what your brain adapted. Because the brain always asks one question first. It always asks one question first. Am I safe? Not am I wealthy? You see the difference? It asks, am I safe? Not am I wealthy? Am I successful? Am I maximizing opportunities? That's not what your brain says. Your brain absorbs the environment and responds accordingly. Safety comes first, always. So if money disappeared quickly in your childhood, just think on that. If bills created tension, if financial conversations created anxiety, what did your brain learn? Your brain learned, hold tight, don't risk, don't trust, stay small, don't draw attention, don't expect more. That's what your brain learned. Or maybe it even learned spend it because you know somebody's coming to ask for it. Think about it. How many times have you received a paycheck or received money, but you spent it quickly because you knew somebody was coming with their hands towards you? Even though you didn't have much, but you had more than them, and they came to you with expectancy. Your brain logged that. Not because you lacked the no response, not because you lacked ambition, but because your nervous system learned unpredictability. Your nervous system said, let's be safe. This is called adaptive conditioning. And adaptive conditioning is intelligent. I mean, look, you survived. You survived. Up until this point, you have survived. Might not be the outcome that you was looking for, but you did survive. Your brain was doing its job. It was trying to protect you. But Protection patterns don't automatically update when circumstances change. So you may earn more, but still feel unsafe. You may save more, but still feel behind. You may grow, but still feel fragile. That is wiring, not ingratitude, not the lack of faith, not the lack of trusting God, not the lack of discipline. It's wiring, environmental wiring. And wiring can be updated. Let me give you a real life pattern. Many people don't recognize. Two people can earn the same income. One invests confidently, one hesitates consistently. One spends comfortably, one fears every expense. Same numbers, different nervous system. Why? Because money behavior follows emotional memory more than math. Your relationship with money is rarely about numbers. It is about interpretation. It is about what your memory recalls. It's about what you have seen. Scarcity is not just a thought, it is physiological. It shows up physically. What happens when scarcity hits in, right? Say you come into the end of the month, before your next check comes in. What happens? You might get migraines. Your chest might get tight. You might feel that you're clenching your jaws. You might get attitudinal. Let's be real. When scarcity is around, what happens? You are on the defense at all times because you know you're just trying to make it to that next check. You're trying to make it to that next point, and then you breathe for a moment again, right? You hold your breath while checking your bank account. How many of us done? I know I've done that before. Or counting the time when the check is going to hit. Oh, it's coming in Friday night. Oh, it's coming in Saturday morning. I've been there before, and it doesn't feel good. Your skin starts to react. Your tongue starts to react. Like sometimes people get dry mouth. Sometimes a lot of things happen. You over monitor your balances. There is a point in time when you just stop going to your bank account to see if money's in there. There comes a point in time. There comes a point in time when that anxiety, let's just go that way. The anxiety of opening up your bank account when you go online to go to, or when you go to the physical ATM to check what your balance is. That anxiety, your body recognizes it and is based on the environment that it previously experienced. You'll start, checking that account multiple times in a day. Why? Again, because of anxiety. Or maybe you avoid looking at your account because you know nothing's in there. Avoiding looking at numbers completely. That one right there is, in my opinion, is that last brink. It's that thing that you feel that there is never going to be a change. Almost hopelessness as far as this account is never going to be what I want it to be. I have been there. It's the worst. It's the worst when you know you have expenses to take care of and you just don't want to look in your account because you're like, I'm going to be disappointed anyways. I know when the check's going to hit. I'll spend when I get the check and keep moving. That last one is definitely something that emotionally taxes you, but it's up to you. I said it before, to rewire that. scarcity mindset, that fear, that anxiety around money. So you go from one extent of not looking at your account at all to hyper checking. Both are anxiety responses. Scarcity narrows perception. That's why we have to work on this. Research shows chronic financial stress reduces cognitive bandwidth. Sit with that. Chronic financial stress reduces cognitive bandwidth. What does that mean? You literally think less expansively. You think less. Not because of intelligence, but because of the stress load. Your brain moves into efficiency mode. Efficiency mode asks, how do I survive today? Not the month, not this week. Today, how do I survive today? Expansion mode X, how do I build tomorrow? Efficiency says today, how do I get through today? Expansion mode, it says, how do I build tomorrow? You hear the difference? Efficiency versus expansion. So scarcity keeps us stuck in survival time horizons. We are always in survival mode. This is why scarcity is expensive. It is expensive, not because of income. And I know you already know you're getting it now because of decision restriction. Scarcity costs clarity. Notice how scarcity thinking sounds internally. Take a minute and just really think about that for yourself. What do you say? I know what I said. Ooh, I can't mess this up. I can't afford mistakes. I need certainty first. I'll do it when I feel safer. Have you ever said that? Does that resonate with you? Be honest with yourself because that's when clarity comes. Safety becomes the requirement before movement. But ironically, movement often creates safety. That paradox traps people. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And we get stuck in that trying to figure out instead of just doing something. Do something. Let's examine something quietly powerful. The phrases you heard growing up. We're going to tackle those. Not what you were taught financially. Because I'm as a New Yorker, I can say being in grade school, we didn't talk about finance like that. We didn't talk about, and I'm talking about in the family or around the friends, we didn't talk about finance. We talked about things we heard around the house, but it wasn't an immediate association to finance. So what I realized growing up is that once I got older, I should say, based on what I found growing up, is that I absorbed a lot of things emotionally. And I think that is what a lot of us have done. We absorbed emotionally. And then that was translated into how we handled finance, in my opinion. But let me share with you why I think that for real. Because maybe you heard this, right? We can't afford that. Money changes people. Oh, you don't want a lot of money because money changes people. It's hard to get ahead. Of course, rich people are greedy. They're selfish. You have to struggle to make it. Those statements have nothing to do with financial education. Nothing. But those are sayings that have been stated because that was the experience. I believe people forgot about the power of the tongue. Stay tuned. To be continued. Coming next week.